people always ask me this. How do you make entrepreneur friends? I want to be an entrepreneur, but I can't find people at my college who want to be entrepreneur. I want to be a creator, but none of my friends are creators. I hear this a lot, especially from my friends who live in the middle states. Like, in California, we have a lot of creators, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And someone's listening to this and they're like, that's me. I want to be an entrepreneur. No one around me. I can't find community. And I always tell people, you're not going to find community. It's not like you're going to like look around for it and be like, there it is. It's not like that.
Yeah.
You attract what you create. If you want entrepreneur friends, go start a business. If you want creator friends, go create. If you want podcast friends, go start a podcast. And that's something I've realized is that as I've made this podcast, I now have successful creator friends all over the world.
Yep.
And these are the friends that inspire me. Like, bro, you're making more money than me at 18. I'm like, I freaking want to hang out with Knight. Like, that's amazing. Before, when I was in my fraternity days, I would have been like, I can't associate myself with an 18-year-old. That's like, I'm too good for that.
Yeah.
And I would have lost out on the opportunity to learn. I would have just learned from a bunch of drunk people, which is dumb. So that's the first thing I always recommend. If you want to go into an entrepreneur route, creator route, or whatever route, don't be worried about finding your community because that will come as you create. Don't idolize goals. If you leave no space to make friends, then you're gonna burn out, and you're gonna keep yourself from your friends in that route too. Now I'm just rambling, but I'm trying to give a lot of context to this. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I have to say.
Well, I think what's interesting about what you're saying of like, it's a potentially the age thing of just like, okay, this person doesn't have a business. They're not super successful. So should I really surround myself with them? We'll put it on the flip side. Why should the millionaires that I sit in meetings with talk to me? I'm nothing compared to them. It's the same thing. It's just different levels of it. So I've become so grateful for the people that invested in me is that I tried to invest in every single person that comes my way, whether it's relationally, whether they want help. Like, I mean, I sat down with a buddy of ours the other day and I helped him work through a deal and we landed a deal for him. I've known the kid for a few months or a few weeks. Like in no other circumstances should I sit down and just help him for free. This is what I get paid to do. But people have done that for me, and I'm so humbled by that if I have anything to offer you or anybody around me, or why I did Juvie for 150 weeks straight, is if I have one thing to offer, I'm just going to put it out there because I've realized people have done that for me, and I'm so grateful I wouldn't be sitting here in this position if it wasn't for them, so I can pass on whatever I've learned. People get so secretive about what they've learned, and I can't pass on this tool because what if they do it better than me? You're screwed if you're going to do it that way. I mean, I would be sitting in meetings with people crazy successful. They'd tell me their tools. I would then sit on a podcast in front of 100,000 people and tell them every single thing they told me.
Yeah.
I sat there with honesty and I sat there like, well, if they're telling me this and this was helpful for me, well, let me tell everybody else. There's no secrecy around that. So not to go back on the secrecy thing, but like there's no point in holding back. If you have something to invest in the person. Eventually God will reinvest in you and the favor will come.
Yeah. And what you just identified is literally the Jesus story. There's the famous parable. Beyond the parable, Jesus forgave you, so how could you not go and forgive others?
Right.
No matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
But then in the specific parable, it's the rich guy. And I think if you do the math, the servant owes the rich guy basically like 5 lifetimes worth of money, like multiple billions of dollars if it was in today's terms.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can never pay it back. And then the rich servant says, it's okay. I will forgive your debt.
Yeah.
And then the guy who has his debt forgiven has a servant below him who owes him like, I don't know, $100. And he beats him because he doesn't pay the $100. And then God comes and he goes, bro, who are you to haul out this guy on $100? You were just forgiven for $1 billion.
Right.
And it's the same thing. But the other thing I wanted to identify in what you said is going all the way back to what we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast.